Salve, my friends, and welcome back to S.P.Q.R. Productions. Today, I'm going to walk you through how I was able to mathematically calculate and rate the ruling ability of the first 25 or so Roman emperors. And while this system isn't perfect, I was quite shocked to see how well it came out. This project took hours of work to complete, so please consider showing some support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel to see more content like this. With that out of the way, let's get into how I was able to make this seemingly ineffective idea into something that is surprisingly accurate. I first came up with the idea for this video a few months ago, long before the channel had even begun. I thought that it would be a fun challenge to combine math and history in a way that would prove meaningful and accurate data, while also making something interesting for others to learn about. I decided that making a ranking system for Roman emperors would check all of these boxes, so I began thinking about how I was going to pull this off. I decided that I wanted to rank them by making a point system that assessed them on 4 main categories that I thought best embody the values of a good leader. The first category is political, the second social, the third economic, and the fourth military. I then divided each of these categories into multiple subcategories, which went into specific aspects of the general topic at hand. Then, I added categories that ranked the effectiveness of each of the emperors in each of these subcategories, and utilized point systems that varied in size to account for the importance of these subcategories to rank the category placement. I know, it sounds really confusing, but I promise that it is much simpler in practice. Let me give you an example. In the economic category, I decided to have 4 subcategories: the average denarius size during the reign of the ruler, the average denarius purity during the reign of the ruler, the average size of the annual grain dole distribution under a certain emperor, and the average population in the city of Rome. This last one was intended to help balance out the size of the annual grain dole, as the population in Rome determined the amount of grain needed. Let's say that I was calculating the Emperor Augustus, and I needed to figure out the average denarius size during his reign. After researching this and figuring out that it was 3.9, I would check the 3 categories to see which number this is closest to. Coincidentally, the best category, Category 3, was 3.9 exactly. Because Category 3 is the best, it is worth 5 points, so I would add 5 points to Augustus's total score. Pretty simple, right? I will briefly show you all each of the categories with the various subsections that pertain to each to give you a better idea of what the final product I came up with was. Feel free to pause at any point to get a better look. In the political category, I worked to calculate senatorial approval of the emperors, their governing ability, and their political effect. In the social category, I worked to find their empathy for the people, the amount of games and gifts the emperor gave to the people, and the people's approval of the emperor. In the economic category, as I mentioned, I worked to rank the average denarius size, the average denarius purity, the average annual grain dole distribution size, and the average population of Rome. Finally, in the militarial category, I calculated the average troop approval, the average number of troops, the number of wars won, the number of enemies fought against, and the number of wars lost. You may have noticed that certain categories' point numbers are higher than others. This is because I felt that certain categories weren't as important as others. For example, it is very clear that senatorial approval is much more significant than the amount of games and gifts given by each emperor. Finally, after putting each of the 25 first emperors through this system, I was finished, or so I thought. I was proud of all my hard work, but the calculations just seemed off to me. Pretty much every emperor was ranked in the general area where I expected them to be. However, the placement just wasn't as accurate as I had hoped. I was questioning why I had this problem when it dawned on me that I had left out a variety of unique yet extremely important factors that would be necessary for more precise calculations. Rather than adding a bunch of other categories, however, I felt that it would be more accurate if I were to put these various categories into a multiplier list. I put each of them through the multipliers, which included starting and ending civil wars, dealing with the plague, being assassinated, and their modern-day legacy. I valued each of these categories at a various range of percents, as I felt that some were more important than others. Here are those categories with their percentages on screen. Feel free to pause and take a closer look. Finally, after completing this, I got the final and, in my opinion, much more accurate scores. Here they are. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It certainly was a lot of fun to make. Make sure to subscribe and turn your notifications on to be updated when a new video comes out, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Also, make sure to check out the new Instagram.